Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Tuesday, September 23rd. It is 6:22 right now. We got market opening up in about 8 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and check off my pre-market checklist and market liquidity, and we'll get started with our analysis shortly. So let's start off with pre-market news for today. Looking over here at the calendar, there was current accounts at 5:30. It was medium impact. So I'm going to go ahead and put this over here. Pre-market news, yes. Medium, no impact. Pre-market volume, I don't really see much right now, but I'll come back and take a look at that in a few. Looking at the overall trend right now, the 1 minute's currently bullish. Price is above the pivots. Trend meter is green. Pivots are angling up. 5 minute bullish, 15 minute bullish, 30 minute bullish, 1 hour bullish, and 4 hour bullish. So with that being said, we'll put that over here. Overall trend is strong bullish, 6 out of 0. So with that being the case, we're probably gonna be looking for some buys here. Same with market structure. Strong bullish, 6 out of 10. Overall momentum over here. We'll know the direction of overall momentum closer to market open. So we don't have that here yet, but we will have that around 6:29. So I'll be taking a look at that as we get closer to it, but right now we just don't have it yet. It's looking pretty bullish though. So looking over here, 1 minute's looking bullish, 5 minute, or sorry, 1 minute, 45 second, 30 second, 15 second. 10 second and the 5 second over here. So I'll come back and check on that in a few. Pre-market volume, I don't really see too much pre-market volume here, but I'll confirm that once we get closer to market open. Post-open news, I believe we do have some news today. We have S&P Global Services PMI, 645. And then we have Fed Chair Powell speaking later today in the late morning. So yes, PMI 645 plus Powell 930. All right, so for the most part, it looks like we're pretty much good to go. Let me go ahead and mark up a market structure over here on this chart. So I believe we have some areas here to look out for. We got resistance up here. We got more resistance up here. We got some more resistance. Looks like price here is kind of sitting flat. Maybe a lot of people are gonna be waiting for Powell to be speaking today. That's the most logical thing to look out for. Powell's not speaking until like 9:30 though, so there goes market structure. We had some resistance up here, some support down here. I'm looking at this on my higher time frame, so that's where I'm getting these levels from. But I just marked this up just to give you guys an idea of what to expect. So we got this right here. This is pretty much market structure. Let me go ahead and mark up the liquidity real quick. We'll start with the daily time frame. We don't have to go super far out. It's just not necessary. Let's go from the daily down to the 8 hour. Down to the 4 hour. Looks like we might be at the all-time high or close to it. Yeah, we're pretty extended out right now, it looks like. Yeah, it looks like we are at the all-time high almost, or at the all-time pretty much. It's a little far, or not really that far, but a little bit of a stretch up to get to the actual all-time high. We're basically there. I'll measure it in a few. So with that being the case, the bias here might be a little tricky because we are at like all-time high resistance, but ideally it's not necessarily a bad thing. At least we have an idea to look out for. That specific price point once price reaches that high. So I'll measure that in a few. All right, going down to the 1 minute. All right, we're actually pretty close to the all-time high, about 17 points from it. It's all good. We got that marked up there. So, all right, guys, good morning, everybody. Looks like majority of you guys are here so far. So we are looking for our pre-market checklist. If you guys are just joining in, I've marked these up so far. Overall trend is strong bullish. We have 6 out of 0. Um, or we have 6 basically confirmations of bullish uptrend. This here might shift a little bit as price continues to move along. You can see here price starting to come down a little bit, but it's pretty strong here for a buy. Pre-market volume. Let me just measure these candles right here. No, slow market, and we'll be looking at the overall momentum shortly. So the key thing that we want to look out for here is no sell signal, right? So if a sell signal here closes, this is going to indicate that the breakout is going to be a sell. We don't really want to take sells today because everything's pointing towards a buy. So I'll be looking for this here to confirm. We got about 20 seconds left on this candle. Once this candle is confirmed, we'll be looking for the direction. So if this sell signal here closes, I'm probably not going to take the sell, guys. Probably not going to take the sell. I'll probably just look for a continuation entry or maybe even an orb entry. Okay, so no sell signal there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the momentum. So it's bearish here, bearish here, bearish here. It's not looking so great. It's bearish. So let's see, 4 out of 2 is bearish. So if that being the case, I'm probably gonna skip the breakout for today, guys. Yeah, because everything is pointing towards a buy. So I don't really want to take the sell here. If you guys want to trade opposite of the momentum here, you guys can. So this is what I'm going to look out for. I'm going to look out for a possible fake out below, and then if it swings back up, I'll be looking to take the buy. That's what I'm going to be looking for. Okay. So that's what I'm going to look for here. I'm going to look for price to come down a little bit. I'll look for the current price, and then I'll see if I can maybe get in for a late entry. So we got market opening up in about 5 seconds. I'm looking for a possible manipulation to the downside, and then I'll look for it to swing back up. All right, it's a price spiked up super heavy right there. So we did not get the manipulation. Well, we got a little spike to the downside, but not the manipulation that I was looking for. I was hoping this was going to spike down the opposite way, and then I was going to catch it as it comes right back up. Because the problem with the momentum here is that everything was bullish, but the overall momentum here was bearish. And that's what I was kind of worried about. And this breakout here looks like it's about to hit. The breakout was a buy today. It's almost to its target. If you guys are in this position, I would move your stop loss and profit because we have this huge spike right here. Yeah, and full TP right there for 50 points. So unfortunately, I missed out on this breakout. Everything pointing towards a buy here, but because of the pre-market momentum here, I just wasn't willing to take that risk because I was looking for a manipulation down because everything here was pointing down, right? The 5 second, 10 second, 15 second, 30 second, everything was pointing that price was attempting to push down, but I knew price was going to push up. And that's exactly what happened here. Price pushed all the way up. Damn, this huge, huge, crazy candle right here. The thing with this here is that this could have went the opposite way, right? So to prevent me from getting caught up in this, because this could have easily went down, I could have gone stopped out real quick and then price could have shot up to my target. The good thing here is that the analysis played through. You know, my momentum signal here indicated a bullish move. So we were looking for a buy here. The only thing that turned me off to taking the entry, not necessarily take the buy, because I was looking for a buy, but the only thing that turned me off to take the actual entry here, was that the overall momentum, and this is going to be my main catalyst for entry here, guys. So this is going to be my main catalyst. This is my main filter, is if the momentum doesn't line up with the actual entry, I'm probably not going to take it. I'm just going to sit out of it. And that's what happened here. So analysis was perfectly fine. It was just I was worried that price was going to spike me up because my stop loss is too tight. Well, I wouldn't say too tight, but it's tight enough. It's where it should be. It's at 25 points. You know, if price was to spike down at least 25 points and then come back down, you know, that would have pissed me off, of course, because that's usually what happens. But again, the manipulation didn't happen against it. It actually happened with it. So nice work there. It looks like some of you guys here caught it. Talanji caught it. I don't know if Jonathan here caught it. Maybe Jonathan did. We'll see if he did because he's probably going to post it up if he took it. But yeah, the direction here was lined up perfectly. Let's go over here to the orb. Okay, so the orb over here is very tricky, guys, because we had this huge spike to the upside. If you guys are looking to take the orb, I mean, again, my overall directional bias here was very bullish. So I would probably mainly look here for a buy if you're looking to take the orb. This thing here, this candle's like way too big though. So if you look at this, I mean, the range is about 115 point range, 117 point range. So you probably want to be a little cautious. You know, you want to be cautious because this pretty big volume on one candle here on open. Yeah, exactly. Talanji said pre-trap Tuesday. Nice. Ark caught it. So Ark, if you caught that, did you pass your other 300K? Hoping you did. So Ark here, he's been killing it. He took the breakout pretty much every day for the past couple weeks, and he's been killing it. He's been passing a ton of accounts. So great work on that, Ark. I know it looked like you were about like one trade away from passing from your profits yesterday. Yeah, you were close to it if you hit the full profit on that one. All right, so the orb here is still pending, guys. If you guys are looking to take the orb, it hasn't broken out yet. If you're looking to take it to the upside, the orb high is going to be at 46,881 right there. Um, if you want to do the 50-25, you can do that. And we will see this where it ends up going. If you're taking the orb high, it's going to be right there. If you take the orb sell, it's going to be down below. But yeah, nice work. Looks like a lot of you guys here caught it. The initial breakout. So again, right here, guys, this is my pre-market checklist. Everything pointing towards a buy here. The only main catalyst here that prevented me from wanting to get into the position was the overall momentum. It was heavily on one side. If we had overall momentum where it was kind of where it was balanced, like if we had maybe one more momentum in the other direction, I would have taken it. But right here, the 5 second here was bearish, the 10 second was bearish, the 15 second was bearish, the 30 second was bearish, the 45 and 1 minute were both bullish, of course. But yeah, it just didn't meet the criteria. So for that right there, analysis was on point, but I did not take the trade because I was expecting a manipulation to the downside first, and then I was going to catch it for a late entry back up. Nice work, Miriam. You caught it too? Solid. Sam said Trump and Powell speaking later, right? Yeah, they are. So at 9:30 Pacific time, we have Powell speaking. This is the post-market news. We have PMI at 6:45, high impact, and then we have Powell at 9:30. Nelly's asking if I took it. No, I didn't take the breakout for what I just mentioned. Everything here pointing towards buy. I was ready to take it, but when I looked at the overall momentum, this is my main filter and catalyst for the entry. It didn't line up with my buy. So that's why I decided not to take it. If it was just one over, so it was 4 out of 2. There's basically four time frames that were bearish, and there was 2 time frames that were bullish. If this one was bullish, or even any of these really, if there was 3 that were bullish, I would have taken it. But because it was outweighed, I was expecting possibly a drop down initially and then a push up. Right here, obviously price went straight up. So it's fine. Um, I mean, the good thing is that the analysis here played out, right? So I'm going to be documenting this a little later. So let me just do that right now, actually. So like I mentioned before, guys, I'll be documenting the breakout because this is going to be one of my main strategies that I'll be applying for the hedge fund. So I'm documenting pretty much everything here. The entry for today was the 23rd. It was a buy. So it's been pretty on point. So overall momentum was bearish. 4 out of 2. Overall trend, bullish, 6-0, bullish, 6-0. Yes, medium, no impact. Pre-market volume, no. Open news, yes. It skipped due to bearish, entry bullish. So it's been pretty good. I mean, I'm looking over here and I'm documenting this. I got to document all of last week. All of last week pretty much won. So, I mean, it's been on a pretty nice heavy streak so far. Because if we were to add this up, it's probably like up like 300 points. So that's going to be, let's see. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, maybe like 16R, and then one loss yesterday, but obviously it was skipped. So if you were just to take every single entry with no filters, it would have been hitting pretty much for the past 2, 3 weeks. So I'll be documenting this here. I have to document it because I'm going to be studying the entry pretty much every day. The reason why I'm doing this is to figure out when to avoid the trades, right? Today obviously was a trade that should have been taken, but it didn't meet my filter. My main filter here is the overall momentum. This stuff is all secondary. The main one that I'm looking at is overall momentum because that's where I'm seeing where price is going right before market actually opens. And this here was indicating a drop down. You can kind of see from the price action pre-market, these current candles right here, it was basically four back-to-back red candles. And that's why the momentum was indicating that price was likely to come down a little bit before it shot up. But long-term direction was bullish. So there goes that right there. Looks like the orb here it hasn't filled yet. If you guys are looking to take the orb right now, there's still opportunity for the orb. The entry is going to happen right here at 46,881. So there's two things that may happen here. If price pushes up and reaches the 50 points, then I would cancel the order. That's going to be my threshold for canceling the order because it'd be overextended. The other thing is price may come down right here, fill it, and then come right back up. My usual cutoff for entry is going to be like around 6:45, 7. The thing is, we have high impact news event coming up right here at 6:45. So I probably wouldn't even mess with this here, guys. I think this here is going to go sideways for a bit. And then we have inflation news right here at 6:45. This is high impact, right? If you look over here at my pre-market checklist, we got post open news, which is PMI at 6:45. That's inflation news. You could expect price to go sideways here and then get manipulated at 6:45. So if you guys do want to take the orb here, the orb is going to be right here at 46,881. If you want to get in for better entry, you could even get down for 5 points lesser, which is going to be around 46,876. 876. I like to give it a little bit of a leeway because what typically happens is price will spike down. You'll get a better entry, 5 points leeway, and then it'll come back up. You can see our price is going sideways. It's because we have news coming up right here at 6:45. It is high impact inflation news. So I'd be careful. We got S&P Global Services PMI, Composite PMI, Manufacturing PMI. It's all forecasted to be negative, it looks like. So even though it's forecast to be negative, doesn't mean it's going to be negative. And even if it is negative, it doesn't mean that price is going to react in that direction. So again, if you're looking to take the orb, if price pushes to the 50 points here, I would cancel it. Looks like it's going to. Because at that point, price would be overextended, right? If price ends up pulling back from all the way up here, it's obviously probably going to reverse back down. Yeah, Sam said be careful holding my trades today. Yeah, definitely want to be careful because the news events here are very, very high impact. Okay, guys, so unfortunately here, the orb here has, well, fortunately, but unfortunately, it already hit. So I would cancel your order if you guys still want to take it. I mean, hold it at your own risk. Um, but it's pretty much hit the 50 points already. So at this point, price is overextended. And then we do have high impact news event right here at 6:45. So I'd probably chill out on that and cancel the order. So the good thing here is that the analysis is playing out perfect, right? Everything here we pointed towards is been for a buy. If you look at my overall market bias over here, it's also for a buy. You can see over here it was slightly bullish, backdrop of constructive fundamentals, tilt modestly bullish with Fed cut momentum. Boeing order news, if you guys have been following the stock market, strong AI tech tailwinds. Technicals confirm uptrend with higher lows and resistance tests, but both agree Gains are capped until Powell's speech clarifies rate trajectory. So this is the thing. A lot of people are expecting more rate cuts for the rest of the year, right? I don't think there's going to be any more rate cuts, guys. I think there might be maybe one more. We had a rate cut today, or not today, this month of 25 basis points. We might get one more in October, but I'm not expecting any rate cuts in third for November or December. We don't get rate cuts in the winter. We don't get rate cuts around the holidays. So, I mean, this could be different, but not expecting it, especially if it's coming from Powell, right? Powell already said that we're not really having like all the stuff that's happening with regard to rate cuts is to keep the market under control, or not just the market, but in general, inflation, recession, etc. Because if they cut too much, we're going to go into a recession. You guys already know that. They've been talking about that for a while. That's why we haven't had cuts in a long time. All right, so we have nothing else here, guys. The orb over here, depending on how you took the orb, there's two ways of taking the orb. You can take it at the close. So this candle right here would have closed. You could have taken the orb immediately as this candle closed. Or if you took the orb for a break and retest, the retest never happened. It's already pushed up too high. So I wouldn't mess with it there. So we're pretty much done with the orb. The orb pretty much here hit target. Here, let me pretty much screenshot this stuff real quick. Let me put this over here. So we have, again, we're keeping this for documentation purposes. But to break out. This here is going to be the orb. So I'm basically going to be documenting the orbs here, or not the orbs, the breakouts. I'll be documenting the breakouts because my main focus for the hedge fund and for like majority of the accounts are going to be looking at the breakouts because we talked about this. The market transition doesn't really the market transition is basically between 6:30 and 7, right? So between right here 6:30 and 7 is usually where all the volatility happens and then it starts to die out. So for me, I'm trying to get my entries right here between 6:30 and 7, of course, right? I'm not really looking to take anything else because I want to be in and out within the first 30 minutes. Price is way out. It's way out right now, guys. So if you look at where price is currently at, there's nothing up here. We're at the all-time high. So we don't have any market structure. We don't have anything to look at to really base any like high-low break and retest. You can see here we have a higher high. It keeps getting pushed up higher. So until we get a retracement here, there's not going to be any continuation entries. We need to have some sort of retracement here before we can take that. But yeah, I'm glad everything here is kind of lining up. All of the criteria here is pointing towards the upside. We did our pre-market analysis. Overall trend was strong bullish. Overall market structure was strong bullish. Pre-market news, yes, but no impact. There was no pre-market volume, so all the volume happened here immediately on open. Then we have high impact news coming up right now. This is the first high impact news event. It is CPI or PPI data, actually. Sorry, not PPI, PMI. So we got inflation data right here. We're going to see how the market reacts to that news. But we did our pre-market analysis and everything pointed in the proper direction. I swear I updated this yesterday, but for some reason it doesn't look updated. Here, let me unless I named it something different. Yeah, because I swear I'll just put it up right here. So overall market. I'm gonna resave this because we need to have that there. Okay, let's see. Okay, we're good now. So I want to make sure we have that there so that I can put, my overall market bias also on this list. So overall market bias over here as well was bullish, 7 out of 10. So here we go as price continues to push up higher. The good thing here is that pretty much both of the breakouts played out. Even though we didn't get a retest, it still played out in the analysis that we were looking for, right? We were looking for price to push through, and it did exactly that. Only problem here is that we haven't had any retracement, so we can't take any of the continuation moves. If you guys want to take the continuation moves, I mean, feel free. Like for example, over here we had basically an MPSV2, price pushed up, retraced, continued up higher. But this thing is sky high right now. It's pretty far up. So there's nothing to take here right now. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. The market looks like we're finally breaking out of this consolidation, right? Market's been consolidating for the past, I don't know, 3 months now. And we're finally getting this bullish direction. So this is good. This is what we've been waiting for. Yeah, Barack said officially in no man's land. Exactly. There's nothing up here, guys. So if you guys want to take something up here, I'd be very careful because price would be considered overextended. To do that, I would measure from this low point, low right here, and up here, price is pushed up basically 258 points with no real retracement. We got some consolidation, but no real retracement. So eventually, price is going to have to turn, right? We can't push up forever. It's going to have to turn at some point. So I would be careful if you guys are looking to take some entries here. I have no market structure above at all. So basically from this opening candle, this whole area right here, there's no market structure because price has never been here before. My stupid swing position never filled. So this is starting to drive me crazy because I've been trying to get these swing positions filled. So I keep moving it up higher, and this thing just never pushes up any higher. So 46,500 right here is where I had my I keep moving it up about 500 points, guys. Initially, it was right here at 46,000, and I pushed up to 46,250, and then now it's at 46,500. And then again, maybe later today, I might have to move it up to 46,750. But it's like, it's just driving me kind of crazy because I've been trying to get into the swing position for, I think, a week or 2 weeks now, and it never pulls back far enough for me to get that entry. The thing is, we were in a choppy market right here, so I was expecting, okay, price can come down at least 500 points to fill my order. But it's like so many missed opportunities here. Not necessarily a bad thing because it just didn't meet my criteria, right? So initially I had my entry here at 46,000. Price pushed up. I was looking for it to come down to 46,000, fill my order. Never did, right? Pushed up again. So pushed up, I moved my entry to right here, this other line, 46,250. Price came down really close to it. Never filled it. And this week I did the same thing. Price came up right here. It was really close to filling it because market opened right here, and I was waiting for this to come down and fill, but it just never came down and fill. It was right here, and it just skyrocketed up. So there's like so many, like the thing is, if I entered from right here, I would have made 500 points on that. If I would have entered from here, 500 points on that. If I would have entered right here, another 500 points. But the thing is, we're in a crazy bullish market. Like for those of you who haven't traded long enough, we haven't really had a crazy bullish market like this. Like this thing is consistently pushing up. Sometimes it'll go sideways, but it just continues to push up. It doesn't pull back far enough. This is where it's easy to get trapped. So like for example, for my swing positions, I don't have them very close because I'm worried that if I do get too close, it's going to trigger my order and then reverse down, right? So that's why I don't move it close enough. I try to keep it at least 500 points away. So if we do get that drop down for 500 points, so let me just measure real quick to give you guys some context. If price comes down 500 points from here, and it's got to come down pretty far. So if it drops 500 points, it's going to be about a 1% drop. Not a big drop, but big enough for me to catch that correction back up. So, the thing with this is I wouldn't add positions to a higher point. I would look for the retracement because eventually the retracement is going to happen. Thanks, Sam. Sam said Trump's going to speak right now. Let me see. I don't have him on my calendar. Today's the 23rd. Okay, Trump is speaking right now. Thanks. It's here on Forex Factory. So let me add that to my list of things here. Trump 650. So Trump is supposed to be speaking right now, guys. Let me add that to my spreadsheet over here as well. Um, there's actually a lot of news events today. All right, so Trump's supposed to be speaking right now. Let me check CNBC real quick. Any updates? So I don't see anything here. Yes, you can see over here S&P ticks higher for the fourth day in a row. Like this is crazy that like see here's a problem. It's like this thing keeps pushing up higher, but there's no reason. I mean, there's a reason for it because of the cuts, but there's not enough reason for it to really push up that much. Um, so basically for 4 days in a row, it's been pushing all-time highs. And that should put caution, right? That should put caution for everyone because what goes up is going to have to come down eventually. Let me check YouTube real quick. Let me see if there's a live stream of Trump. Okay, CNBC is actually scheduling it. So Trump hasn't started speaking yet, but CNBC over here does have so it says live Trump addresses United Nations General Assembly. So it's not a regular speech, it's just Trump addressing the UN. Obviously, Trump's going to have some interesting things to say, but yeah, that's what's going to happen today. So with it being Trump addressing the UN, I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. It's not going to be where he's going to be saying anything that's going to shake up the market. If he was doing a White House press conference, then that'd be a different story because he has more open reign to kind of say what he wants. Over here, I'm just expecting him to have some sort of speech. He's going to have something written up to say in front of the UN. He's not going to say anything crazy. Or I mean, who knows? You know, who really knows Trump? He could just kind of blurt out random stuff as well. Actually, okay, so I think this over here, I think um I think Trump's gonna actually have some stuff to say about Russia. So if you guys saw the news events over the past couple of days with Russia, I don't think it's here in my CNBC right now, but I saw it the other day. Basically, man, I forget his name, whoever the president of Russia is. Basically, Russia said that the US is not going to do anything to stop them from continuing to attack Ukraine. So that's going to I mean, he's going to talk about that for sure. I think that's going to be one of the main big topics that he's going to talk about with regard to, I guess, random blurts. He's going to talk about what happened with Russia because basically, you know, he's going to say that Russia can't tell him what to do or like Russia can't tell US that they're not going to intervene. I think that's going to be the main thing to look at. Yeah, PC said it's because of Nvidia stock market is more disconnected from economy than ever. Fundamental weight is different now. And other large caps, it's the AI race. Yeah, exactly, PC. I agree with you 100%, 1000%, bro. Like me and you might not meet eye to eye on a lot of things with regard to trading strategies and analysis and stuff like that, but I do agree with you on that for sure. Because it's crazy, right? The market shouldn't be ticking up like this. Like it just doesn't make sense. Like there's not a lot of catalyst to push price up. We had the interest rate cuts, but the interest rate cuts is supposed to bring price down a little bit because it means cheap money, right? Um, you know, I'm curious to see gold. Like I'm wondering where gold is right now. Let's check gold real quick. I'm just curious to see where it's at. See, this is the crazy thing. It's that gold is moving in the same direction as I mean, the thing is if there's interest rate cuts, gold is not supposed to, I don't know. Nothing makes sense right now with because the thing is if you're looking at basic fundamentals, like gold usually moves opposite of equities and of cash, right? So I mean, everything is bullish. Like gold is bullish, YM is bullish, ES is bullish. It's like the market just doesn't really make sense with regard to fundamentals. Um, a lot of the stuff, like what PC said, it's like there's select stocks that are kind of like pumping price, but for how long? Like how can this hold? The thing is, I'm holding Nvidia right now. Let me check. My target is at 196, I believe. So I'm up like almost 20% on my Nvidia stock. My Nvidia is actually down today. It's down 2%, surprisingly. Wasn't expecting it to come down like that. See, here's the crazy thing. I'm looking at the overall right now. Nvidia, like a lot of these stocks are down. It's crazy because the market's up, but the stocks are all down. Like the main tech stocks, like Nvidia's down. Here, let's just pull up CNBC real quick. I think this will be easier. Like I do see a correction, but a lot of those stocks are kind of down right now. So let me go over here real quick. CNBC US 30. I just want to see what the Dow is looking like right now. Yeah, so Amazon is down $6. It's down 2%. Nvidia is down $4, which is 2% as well. Kind of getting screwed right now because I just bought into Amazon actually. Bought in at 226, and I just got to hang on to it, which is not going to be a big deal. Yeah, so the big losers right now are pretty much a lot of the tech stocks, Amazon, Nvidia, Microsoft, Salesforce. Let's check NQ real quick. Is NQ still bullish? NQ is dropping right now. The tech stocks are coming down. So NQ is currently bearish right now. Not very bearish, but bearish to some extent. YM right now, if that's the case, I think YM is going to start to drop down a little bit. Let's see. What's pushing price up right now? Goldman Sachs is what's carrying the Dow right now, actually. Yeah, so Goldman Sachs is pretty much carrying it up 15%. So it's able to pretty much eat up a lot of these lower stocks. I'm going to keep this over here on my list so that we can just have an idea of like what's holding stuff up and what's bringing stuff down. All right, Trump still has not spoken yet, guys. We got price kind of just sitting up here. If you guys are looking to take entries, price looks like it's going to a range. We have a higher high right here, and we have a higher low right here. Price is starting to consolidate. It's right on time too. So if you guys remembered right here, I mentioned, I'm looking to take entries between 6:30 and 7. And then after 7 o'clock, price tends to go sideways, and this is usually where it's like dead period. And we just have a sideways market. All right, let's see. Yeah, PC said big crash coming after this AI race, in my opinion. Yeah, I could see that happen too. I wouldn't say a crash, but more of a correction, right? Because the thing is, a lot of these companies aren't going anywhere. So yeah, I do see some sort of correction happening, and then obviously in the future, some continuation. But we'll see. I don't know why Goldman Sachs. I don't know if they're part of the earnings for today. I haven't really followed earnings anymore because my stocks are kind of just being held long term. Um, but yeah, for some reason, Goldman Sachs is just they're pumping right now. They're pumping crazy. 16 points. Yeah, the biggest loser for today so far is Amazon. It's probably a horrible buy for me because I got in at 226. I'll just hold on to it though. I don't think Amazon is going anywhere. So eventually it will correct back up. See, the thing is, Amazon was already down pretty heavily. Damn, look how big this drop was. So I measured that Amazon was already down about 3%. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to get in right here at 226. This thing went right through my 226 and dropped down lower. Of course, I'm expecting a correction at some point. So my entry actually was right here at 226. Not horrible, but obviously not great. This is for a lot of my long-term investments. I try to get in at these whole numbers. So yes, I am holding on to Amazon right here, 226, which is fine. I'll look for the correction back up. Once it climbs back up, I'll try to look for a 3% increase. So my exit's probably going to happen 233. I'm going to put that in my targets here actually. 233. Good to cancel. All right, cool. So I'll look for this to correct back up. Amazon's not going to drop forever. I'm expecting it to come back up at some point. I mean, it might even come back later today. So there's a couple different things that I'm trading, guys. Obviously, I'm trading futures with you guys here, but I'm also trading for my long-term investment accounts. I'm trading a couple stocks here. I trade these things called the Mag 7. If you guys are not familiar with it, it's called the Magnificent Seven. Typically, what I do here is I'll buy a couple of these stocks when they're at a dip price, and then I'll hold on to it for like maybe a week, maybe a couple weeks, maybe a month. And then once they start to decay in a sense, then I flip it out. So I have like basically 30,000 to 40,000 in trading capital for my investment accounts. I'll buy when they dip down, and then once they start to push up a little bit, I'll take some profit, and then I'll switch them. So I just rotate my assets here. I'm holding both Amazon and Nvidia. My Nvidia's in profit. Eventually, once this is done pumping, I'm going to rotate it out. Right. So I got into Nvidia like a little bit lower down here. I usually tend to get in at the whole numbers. So right here, price was dumping, and then I got in right here at 170. So I'm up pretty good. I'm up like maybe 6%, 5%, somewhere around there. I should have got out right here, but it's okay. Now that price is over here starting to turn around, I might exit out of my position and then maybe jump into something else like Meta. I think Meta is my next thing because it's dropped down about 3%, 4%. And this is just long-term investing. These Mag 7 stocks, these are 10, they're bullish assets. So even if I get in at a shitty price, I just hold on to it. Eventually, it might take a couple weeks, might take a couple months, but eventually it'll make it back into profit, you know? So yeah, I'm holding Amazon, Nvidia, and then I forget what else, maybe Apple, I can't remember. But basically I rotate three stocks at a time. All right, guys, so price here is kind of sitting around this area. We're not really looking for sells here. If you're looking to take a high-low break and retest, you're looking for price to break past this higher high. Clean this up a little bit. Clean this up a little bit. 7:05 right now. Trump hasn't started speaking yet, I don't think. Nope. Still has not started speaking yet. Yeah, so Amazon's starting to correct up a little bit. I'm not worried about Amazon. I got in at a price that I was happy with. So just gonna wait for that to correct back up. This year's gonna be key because see how price is now pushing up higher for the YM. What we want to look at here is you want to see the changes in basically these red stocks, right? If these red stocks start to soften out, like for example, Amazon's is currently down $5. We want to look at percentages here. Amazon and Nvidia are the only two stocks here which are holding the Dow. So if these here start to correct back up, see they're currently down 2%. If this goes up to 1%, 0% back into profit, if that becomes the case, then expect YM here to continue pushing up higher, right? Because YM here moves based off these basket of stocks. So I'm going to look at this from a fundamental perspective to see if this here starts to kind of push up. The main thing to look out for here is these red stocks, right? Just looking at this right here, and I'm looking for these to kind of soften up. Basically, so NVIDIA here is no longer down 2%, it's down 1%. So with that being the case here, we could expect price to maybe push up higher. But I'll keep looking at these here to make sure. You know what I should do, now that I've kind of mentioned this, is I should probably have these stocks on my chart. So what I'm going to do here is I want to have them on a separate chart. So I have a separate chart over here. I'm going to look at, I'll do my 6 time frame trend. I'm going to rename it because that's kind of what I want to focus on now. Because if I'm looking for price to push up higher, I'm really going to look for these two stocks to really push up from where it's currently at. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set this up on my other window here, just so I can have it open at all times. Let me see how many stocks I need to look at. Not really many. It's just really these two right here. Uh, okay, maybe a couple, maybe like 4 of them right here. So I'm gonna look at Amazon. I'm gonna put 4 windows here on my other trading view window. I'm gonna rename this, and I'll show you guys what I'm doing right here. Gonna rename this. Um, I'm curious to see how it moves. So okay, stocks that I say I was looking at. So Amazon, Nvidia, PG, Walmart, Amazon, Nvidia, PG, and Walmart. Okay, cool. So let me just show you guys. Because the thing is, we have a bullish bias. So whenever these stocks start to turn around, I'm probably going to be looking for that confirmation. Like for example, if you're looking for a high-low break and retest, or if you're looking for continuation back up, I'd like to see these three stocks kind of push up higher. So let me just show you guys real quick. Take a screenshot of this. All right, so I have a separate window over here, guys, with all these stocks that are currently red right now, right? Basically, the reason why I'm looking at this is because when these here start to turn to the upside, it's going to flip the whole YM to the upside because those are the only red stocks right now, right? It's Amazon, Nvidia, Procter and Gamble, and Walmart and Salesforce here kind of they kind of bounce back and forth, but it doesn't matter. Whichever stock here turns back to green, meaning um, shit, where did I put this thing in? Right. And where's my thing? Pretty sure I took the screenshot here. I think I might have deleted it. But yeah, what I was saying over here is I'm looking for a turn of this. I mean, they're starting to turn right now. So see how price is starting to climb up right here for Amazon? It's climbing up right here for Nvidia. As price starts to climb up like that, there's going to be a flip to a continuation basically. So right now this is a high-low break and retest. If anybody wants to take it, I mean, feel free to take it. I don't know if this here is going to really hold for that long because, a 50-point move is going to be very, 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 very far. I would probably do a 40-20. And I'm basing this off the ATR. The ATR is currently at 22 right now. So basically I have the stop loss at 20. Double ATR is going to be the target for a 1 to 2. So I'm just using basically a fundamental analysis over here to identify swing back to the upside. Obviously, everything here is very bullish, right? Market structure is bullish, but the turn to the upside here has not really confirmed yet. I'm looking over here again at my four windows of stocks, and they're still staying pretty flat, if not coming back down to bearish. So if that's being the case, then price may flip back down below here. So I haven't really seen a flip yet. Again, if you guys want to take entry here, feel free to take it at your own risk. Not going to be the type of entry that I'd personally like to see. Here goes Trump. I think he's now speaking. Okay, so Trump is now currently speaking. He's talking about inflation. All right, we got Trump speaking. Let's see. Trump says no more meeting with top Democrats on shutdown could possibly be productive. So this is some breaking news right now too. Trump said that he basically said he's not going to meet with any Democrats to discuss the government shutdown. If you guys, this happens all the time. So every couple of months, they have to basically rebalance the sheets for the US or the books for the US. And if they can't balance them out, they just go into they say they go into government shutdown, but they always end up extending it. So we'll see. Anyways, no entry here for me right now. Again, like I said, after 7 o'clock, market here tends to go sideways. If you guys are just joining in right now, most of the entries for today have already passed. The breakout over here hit full TP for 50 points, if not 100 points right here, depending on what you guys were aiming for. And the orb over here also hit target, and it never really came back to retest. So both of the breakouts today did push in the direction of our bias, which was bullish. There was no continuation moves because price did push up and there was no retracement. But basically the window here between 6:30 and 7 was bullish, and now price is starting to go sideways after 7 o'clock. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I'm kind of just looking at I'm looking at the current red stocks right now, and I'm waiting for this here to flip back up. I mean, it's starting to flip slightly, not very much, but it's starting to flip slightly. So Amazon here is not as red as it was earlier. It's starting to correct back up. People are buying the dip. Yeah. The good thing is Nvidia is back. They were both 2% down, but now they're Nvidia's down 1.8 and Amazon's only down 2.0. So this indicates that, we're still in a strong market. Majority of the stocks here are still very bullish. So with that being the case, we're expecting price to, still continue pushing up higher. McDonald's and Merck and Co are currently unchanged. This could be the factor to flip price the other way. But at the moment, it's doing fine. All right, we might have a flip to the downside, guys. We'll see. Again, I'll keep showing you guys here. Let me see if I could maybe pull this over to my main chart. Fuck. Sorry, guys. I hate that I have so many windows here. It makes it impossible for me to drag this around. Oh, I'll just drop it in right here real quick. Okay, yeah, so looking at this right here, these are the main stocks that I was looking at. So basically what we're looking for is we're looking for this to flip to the upside, right? Amazon to flip back to bullish, looking for a NASDAQ here, or not NASDAQ, NVIDIA to swing back to bullish. If these two stocks here flip above the pivots over here for a correction to the upside, then we can expect, and if this here starts to soften up, then we could expect the Dow here to continue pushing up because these are the two main stocks that are really holding price down, right? So if that's the case, then we can see price here start to push up for YM because these are all connected. right? 30 stocks that we're looking at over here for the Dow, that's what YM is. Whatever moves for the 30 stocks, that's where YM is going to move to. So if you want to look at things from a smaller scale or, from a magnifying glass, just look at what stocks here are red or, whatever is green here and then see if they continue pushing up into the bullish cycle. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. It's not really necessary, but I like to see things on a granular perspective where I can pretty much anticipate price is going to correct back up. So I got three different windows here. That one window is going to show you guys exactly what I'm looking at, and I'll try to give you guys updates on that right now. Price here is just going back and forth. Until these stocks start to flip to the upside, we're probably not going to see a correction back up or correction back down more so. It just kind of depends on like who's down the middle right now. So right now, Merck and Co is currently down the middle. Apple is down the middle. IBM, Honeywell. If these stocks here start to turn red, and I'm just going to look at these right here because these are the ones I can easily shift. So basically, if these stocks right here turn red, or if this turns more red, or if these start to weaken, then price may come down lower. Um, let's see, how many are green right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So right now it's a little balanced. It's about 15 and 15 right now with regard to how many stocks are red and how many stocks are green. See how price here is starting to dump a little bit? It's because Goldman Sachs is starting to weaken as well. So Goldman Sachs over here, it was up quite a bit and it's actually starting to weaken. So it's kind of like a balancing game here. Like if you're looking for price to swing the other way, the thing is we are waiting for price to start to swing back down because it's been pushing up for so high. Right now, price is kind of just ranging, consolidating around this area. I'm not really ready to take any sells here yet. If you guys are looking to take any sells, there's a possible high-low break and retest right here. But overall market structure and trend is still very bullish, right? The 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour price is still above the pivots. The trend meter is still green and the pivots are still angling up. Looking over here at market structure, everything's bullish as well, right? 1 minute, 5 minute, 15, 30, 1 hour, 4 hour. So I'm not convinced that price is going to flip back down yet. This might be just a small correction, and then it may pull back up into this range. So what I would say is look out for a possible fake out around these areas, and then a possible continuation back up. But there's not really much. So there's a lot of different catalysts here. You guys gotta be careful because for one, price is overextended. For two, Trump is speaking. Yeah, Trump is still currently speaking. I think he's talking about Russia right now. Yeah, so Trump basically said right now what he basically said is you know, people say things, but they're always empty words. So just keep that in mind because now you're gonna see Russia respond back to him. Putin, okay, that's his name. I don't know why I forgot Putin's name when I was thinking about Russia's leader. But yeah, Putin basically said that the US is too busy doing their own thing. They're not gonna come back and intervene with their war with Ukraine. But Trump over here, of course, is gonna retaliate and say, of course, people say things, but they're always empty words. And that's probably why, when there's turmoil in the market or in the world, the market tends to drop down a little bit. So see how price is coming down right here because people are uncertain about what's going to happen next. This doesn't have a direct correlation to what Trump's saying, but of course, people are getting scared, right? If Trump talks about war or he talks about, he butts heads with other countries, specifically Russia and Korea, then obviously people are going to get worried. right? So this here could be temporary. I mean, this could just be people taking profit from the big push to the upside. This could be a lot of things, right? This downwards trend right here, and it's not a very strong downwards trend because we're on the 1 minute. So if you want to see a real market reaction, you go on the higher time frames like before. So this here looks like it might just be a profit-taking opportunity for a lot of people. You can see it happen right here as well. So let's go over here real quick. See this profit-taking opportunity? It took profit and then price went sideways and then it shot right back up. Same with this right here. Price can be, people can just be taking profit. Price will go sideways and then it might just correct back up. There's just a lot of different things to take into consideration right now. Right? Trump speaking, the inflation news just came out. We got jobs data coming up in the next couple of days. Overall direction here is still very bullish. So again, like I mentioned earlier, if you're looking to take something, I would look for the fake out and correction back up into the box up here. Ideally, that's kind of what I would expect. Yeah, Solange, I just saw your message right now. So Solange said, looks like AI in general is just taking a hit. Yeah, I think a lot of these AI stocks are just overextended to just put things pretty frank. It's whenever stuff gets overextended like that or they just get overvalued, eventually people are going to start to take profit and then eventually people will buy the dips and it'll correct back up. But yeah, Solange said he's been holding all year though. Meta's been amazing. Yeah, I know. Overall, those just in general, the stocks that I'm following, the Mag 7 again that I mentioned, all this stuff has been pretty much killing it. If you look at, so let's just look over here real quick. I'm gonna put this on the daily time frame. I just want to show you guys what I mean. So for example, Amazon over here is pushing up super heavy, went sideways. There's a lot of dipping opportunities here where you can take buys. If you look at all these assets, they've been pretty bullish for the most part for the entire year, right? Apple's been pushing up crazy, a lot of buy opportunities right here. Microsoft as well. Price was pretty much climbing up for a while. It started dipping. So like as it started dipping right here, this is a good opportunity to buy because price will probably flip back up eventually. Same with Alphabet over here at Google. Price has been climbing super heavy. Same with Amazon here. Price started to dip right here. This is why I was looking to take my buys. And I'm fine with my entry right there at 226. I'm going to expect a correction at some point. Same with NVIDIA over here. Price pushes up. Once it starts to dip down a little bit, you can look for entries for buying the dip. Same with Meta here. Price pushes up a little bit. When price comes down, I try to get in at the whole numbers, buy the dip, ride it up. And of course, same with Tesla, right? These stocks change every once in a while. They're not always going to be these main seven stocks. There might be a company that may emerge from what is basically like the middle range, and then it might just switch out one of these stocks. Kind of curious now. I'm like, I should start a stock portfolio with just like all these three stocks just to follow them, and then when the Mag 7 gets kind of adjusted, I can just switch them out. That'd be for like super, super long-term stuff. Broxy, just amazed to see Meta on Sierra charts. I think I'll also continue to watch it. Yeah, I think it could be useful and helpful. Let's see, Broxy, yeah, too early for me. I'll let it slide for now. Set alerts. Take anything of this kind of momentum. My hope is that we get down to 46, 620 for any bullish setups, whether it's going down or going up today. Hard to say until Trump finishes speaking. Even NQ is way up there. My take is you need to ease down. Yeah, exactly. I think everything needs to ease down to not Solange, Barack. I agree with Barack here. So Barack basically mentioned that he feels that all of these indexes should ease down a little bit, right? And I agree with you. Price is overextended. It pushed up from this lower low right here, up about 300 points, and then now it's retracing down. There's no surprise, right? There's a big push up right here. We're basically in an area where there's no market structure. So before we can really identify market structure from this area, we need to have some sort of retracement, right? Retracement, maybe continuation down, correction back up, retracement. and then finally continuation up higher. It's just the overextension here is too far out. It's not just YM either. So YM pushed up super heavily today, NQ as well. Well, not this morning, but previously it's been pushing up. NQ's actually been taking a big hit today, just because those tech stocks have been taking a hit. But you can see over here, NQ is pretty much going sideways since yesterday. So from yesterday morning, we had the big bullish push, and then it's starting to average down, right? There's an imbalance here. Like if you look on the 1 hour, pretty big imbalance there. There's two imbalances actually. So there's an imbalance right here, and there's also an imbalance right here, right? Price is actually retesting this imbalance right now. This is the 1 hour imbalance. Yeah, so the price is currently in the imbalance right now. I mean, for NQ, this can easily shift right back up if it ends up closing back above this area. So if you're looking to take this for NQ, I mean, look for price to break above this imbalance right here. Possibly look for the break and retest, continuation up higher. Let's go to ES real quick. See, here's the weird thing. So like a lot of people like to compare ES with YM. It's really hard to compare them now because they're not really mirroring each other like they used to in the past, right? So you can see over here, ES has actually been going sideways all day today. Heavy sideways move, no real big bullish push there. Um, so I can go on the 1 hour. There's an imbalance here. Yeah, so price did retest the imbalance right there. It's confirmed, but price is really just going back and forth sideways. Let's go back to YM. Oops. I mean, YM's a different story. For YM over here, we don't have any imbalances because price has been going sideways pretty much all day yesterday. Breakout. It's crazy. Like, so let's take a look at this real quick, guys. It's crazy how much of a difference is happening between ES and YM, right? Let's go on the 1 hour time frame. This is ES and this is YM. These are supposed to be mirroring assets. So S&P is typically following YM here. But see, like they were kind of matching a little bit right here, just a little bit. But today they were completely different. ES has just been going sideways pretty much the entire day, while YM over here has been going up super heavily. So, it just goes to show that the fundamentals here aren't aligned because typically these stocks are supposed to line up with each other, or not these stocks, these indexes. Which is fine. It doesn't matter. I don't compare the two. I just trade one or the other. So, with us focusing on YM doesn't make a difference if ES follows or if it doesn't. Let's see. Sam City's ready to buy gold on retracement to swing it. Yeah, I do the same thing. If there's going to be more interest rate cuts, then yeah, gold's going to continue climbing up higher. Yeah, so Solange said, yeah, he's got those seven plus Oracle, Broadcom, Cisco, IBM plants here, and Qualcomm. Nice, nice. Yeah, those are solid stocks. Solange to hold on to. I got lucky with plants here. I got it when it pumped. So what I did was I was trading the earnings. That's what I was doing before. So a lot of the times before I was just buying earnings and holding on to them for like a couple hours, if not a couple of days, and then just flipping them. I should have held on to Palantir because that was a good one that just kept shooting up. The thing is, I never understood what Palantir was because I never heard of the company. I just bought it because it was on earnings. And then after I started to realize like, oh, this is actually a pretty good company to hold on to. So yeah, I'll have to keep updating my earnings playlist or playbook to see what else is good. I just don't like trading stocks too much. It's just too much work because there's so many stocks to look at. So I keep them pretty close knit with regard to whatever my Mag 7 is here. All right. So We still do not have really much going on here, guys. If there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to hop into the chat. This is a perfect time to ask me questions if you guys do have any questions. As you guys know, I don't really teach as much anymore. I mentor like one person per month for the most part, but I don't really teach people on a bigger scale because my main focus is really just on uh on refining the strategies. And the thing is, like, my strategies are going to be a little more secretive now than they have been in the past. For the past 8 years or so, I've shared pretty much every strategy with you guys, and I've pretty much, I haven't hidden anything. The thing now is that since the hedge fund is up and running, or it's going to be up and running pretty soon, I have to keep a lot of this stuff pretty proprietary. So if you guys are here and you guys have access to the indicators, nothing's changing. It's just I'm not going to be very open with the specific details. I'll show you guys the basics of the strategy, but like, applying my filters and whatnot, a lot of that stuff is going to be more on the proprietary side. And it's not going to be anything crazy, right? Like something like this over here, like my overall checklist. That's like one of the little things that, where did I put it at? Is it still here? Oh, here we go. Yeah, so my overall checklist over here. This is like probably gonna be like one of the main things I'll be looking at. This is gonna be my catalyst for a lot of my entries, specifically the breakouts. Um, so these are gonna be my filters, but over time, my filters are going to adjust, right? Like I'm gonna have, like for right now, if you guys have been following, my main focus is really on the overall momentum pre-market. At some point in the future, if we move to a higher time frame, it might be overall trend. If we go to an even higher time frame, it might be overall market. If you go to a shorter time frame or keep it where it's at, it might be overall structure. So there's just a lot of different things here. Like that's the thing with trading. Like you kind of have to swap things out, right? Your focus may be like, for example, the past couple months, our main focus is really the orb and high-low break and retest, right? The problem with the market here is that we almost haven't been getting high-low break and retest ever. So if you guys have been following me for the past couple months, basically 3 months from now, we haven't had very many high-low break and retest. The thing is, you have to adapt with the market. What we started to notice here is that the market typically moves between 6:30 and 7. And then after 7 o'clock, it either goes sideways or it corrects back down. So with that being the case, I'm looking for my entries here mainly between 6:30 and 7. And the main entries that we have during this time are the breakouts, right? Momentum breakout and orb. So my playbook has kind of shifted a little bit, not in a bad way. It's just we're using what we can to our advantage, right? So let me just show you guys my playbook again over here. So initially we were kind of focused on mainly the orb and the high-low break and retest. This high-low break and retest it hasn't been coming up at all. So my main focus now is really going to be both of the breakouts, the orb and the momentum breakout. Right. So like for example, today I missed I didn't miss it, but I passed on the momentum breakout. So I was looking to take the orb here, but then the orb never came back for the retest. So although my analysis here lined up, I wasn't able to get into them. So just something to keep in mind. I'm always adapting with the market. I'm always refining my edge. I'm taking whatever is working at the time. Right now, it's really just going to be the breakouts for the most part. This might not be the case over the next couple months, right? It's currently September 23rd. We're going into the October market. If that's the case, for the fall season, we typically start to trend in a direction. So if that's the case, then, I might start to revert back to the high-low break and retest if we do have entries there. One thing that I was looking at is, if I want to go back to these directional moves, might have to move to a different time frame. The 1 minute's okay, but there's just no entries here, right? We're looking for entries here as price continues to move along. These candles are just too small, right? The ATR is currently at 17 right now. So it makes it pretty much impossible to catch anything here. What I would do is maybe go up to the 3 minute, maybe see if I find anything here, go down to the 2 minute, see if I find anything here. But I mean, realistically, there's just nothing there. 5 minute. The 5 minute is a good time frame to trade on, but to trade within our window here, it makes it pretty much impossible. Between 6:30 and 7, you're not going to get any entries there. So as of now, looks like we're going to stick to the 1 minute, which is fine. I'm okay with the 1 minute. I'm comfortable on the 1 minute. We've been trading the 1 minute for years. Um, there's more opportunities on this time frame. But all right, it is 7:37 right now. We got about, let's see, we've got about 23 minutes until 8 o'clock. You guys can see here prices dumping back down further. The volatility isn't really picking up very much. Yeah, I'm looking at my watch list over here for Dow. It's not really picking up at all. Trump is still speaking. It's going to refresh that. He's actually talking a lot. I wasn't expecting Trump to like go off like this, but it looks like he's kind of going off into tangents. Um, he's kind of just speaking now. He's not reading off his script, which is fine. That's cool. I mean, Trump can do his thing. Trump can do his thing. And looking over here at the stocks, so Amazon is still down 2%. Home Depot, Nvidia is kind of lowering a little bit, but still pretty weak. See how many stocks here are red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So they're still pretty much balanced out with regard to how many stocks are red, how many stocks are green. So I'm expecting this to consolidate now. Once it's done pushing down, I'm expected to kind of flat out a little bit. I don't really see much here on the indexes to really push price in either direction. I'm really just looking for that flip back in a direction, but not expecting too much here. But yeah, guys, so moving forward, I would say for the next month or so, the adjustments to the strategies, well, not really, there's not really adjustments to the strategies, but the adjustments to like what our main focus will be for trading will probably, it'll probably adapt on a monthly basis. So like right now we're going into October. I think for the month of October, my main focus again is still going to be between 6:30 and 7, and I'll mainly be looking at the breakouts. If that changes and we might have to go back to directional entries, and that's completely fine. It's not going to make a difference, but I'm only making changes basically on a monthly basis. Like for example, here, I didn't start to make the changes to the breakouts until maybe like towards the end of this month. Because the thing is, we've been here in September, and this hasn't been a good month for me, guys. To be honest, it hasn't been a good month because there's a lot of times where there's no entries for me, and if I do take an entry, it tends to be, a toss up. But that's trading. The thing with trading is like you're gonna have months like this where it's gonna be really slow. You're gonna have months that are just gonna be bad. You're gonna have months that are really good. I'm just hoping that October is gonna be a lot more consistent because I feel like September here has been pretty. I mean, it's been pretty boring for the most part, right? I don't think I've taken many entries. Last week I took one entry for the entire week. This week I haven't taken anything yet. It's only Tuesday, so I'm not worried. We have a whole week ahead of us. We got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so it's not really a big deal. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens here in a few. All right, let me just, there's nothing going on here, guys. If there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to hop into the chat. I'll keep marking up structure here as price continues to move along, but there's not really much going on here. Like I said, my main focus is probably gonna be between 6:30 and 7, which is probably gonna be better for a lot of you guys anyways, because it's better to be in and out of the market quickly rather than kind of hanging out here as market starts to do nothing, and then you start to make mistakes and you take bad trades. I'd rather be one and done anyways. If I could just take the breakout every morning and then, or when it's valid and just be done, I'd be happy with that. But let me take a look at my spreadsheet over here. Just want to make sure I didn't miss out on any of the data points. So I'm going to so like I said, guys, I'm going to be documenting these positions here for the breakout, because this is what I'm going to be focusing on. We're basically doing what we were doing prior. So when I first started the hedge fund, you guys remembered I was mainly trading the breakouts. Again, I'm reopening the hedge fund and I'm going back to mainly the breakouts. So this just shows you that there's a pattern in the market, right? If you guys remember when I first started the hedge fund, we were taking the breakouts basically from November up until February. And then from there, the market started moving directional and I started trading directional entries. It's like a repeat of last year. So like last year, we started doing the same thing. Market was kind of slow during the summer. So we started flipping back to breakouts. And then again, we're going from September into October. And we're literally going back to here. I can even show you guys. So let's just go back over here to the Discord. I don't really know how to, let me see if I could. Okay, I think I just got to scroll up. So let's just see what we were doing around this time in October. I'm pretty sure there's a way to do this faster, but I'm not really too familiar with like, it's okay. It's not that far. Yeah, so it looks like we were taking the breakouts around this time too. So you guys can see the market moves in seasons, right? So if you look over here in December, this is December 4th, I was taking the breakouts during that time. Let's go back a little higher. I was also taking the scalps. But yes, the breakouts over here. See, the main strategy I was taking last year around this time was breakouts. They're on a bigger scale though. I think the volatility was a little bit higher. I was going for 100 points. So yes, if the volatility gets super high, then I might have to make some adjustments to the breakout. But this time last year, we were taking the breakout. So we were taking market flow V2s around this time last year too. Maybe that's something I can throw back into the mix. Yeah, so this is October 4th, breakout, October 3rd, breakout. So it looks like we're basically coming full circle like last year. Okay, so today's September 23rd, right? Let's go to September 23rd or around that time of last year. So September 23rd of last year, we were taking the breakout. The same day last year, same thing. It just looks like the market here was a lot more choppy around this time. So there's a lot of fake outs kind of happening right here. But thankfully for today, it doesn't look like that's the case. Market's kind of shifted a little bit, but we are moving back to the breakouts. It's just if you look over here, my previous breakouts were about 100-point moves. While now we're really just going for 50 points. Okay, so that's good to know. That's good to know that we're basically just flipping back to what we were doing this time last year. So guys, if you guys are on the Discord, if you guys want to go back to see what I was doing years ago, like just go to the official profits here and just scroll up to whatever date. If you want to go back to 2023, I don't even know if I was on here during 2023, but let's see. I don't know when I moved over to Discord, I forgot. Maybe we were here in 2023, 2024. Yeah, so if you look over here, so the V1 variation, we were applying the V1 variation in 2023. It's the same thing. It's like all I do is I flip strategies a little bit. So we were taking breakouts again right here, I think. Yeah, so December of 2023, we were taking the breakouts. We were going for 30 points back then. Volatility was lower. I'm curious to see what we were doing in September of like 2023. That's 2 years ago. Momentum pullback scalps, V1 variations. Okay, so I think back in 2023, I was doing a lot of these, I was doing more of these scalp entries, not really the breakouts. Yeah, we were taking a lot of these scalp entries. I mean, if you guys want to go back and take scalp entries, that's perfectly fine. You guys can do that as well. Okay. Yeah, these are all, it's crazy how far back we go from trading, and you guys can see the same strategies are still being used. All right, anyways, that was kind of just going back to see like what we were doing around this time last year. So this time last year we were doing breakouts. This year again we're doing breakouts. The year before that I was doing scalps around this time period. Um, yeah, I mean there's a lot of different things here that you guys can apply. Let me see. There's a momentum pullback scalp right here actually. See, the thing with this is I used to like trading this way, but I don't think I could trade this way anymore. It's just too risky. 10 points. How much would that be? So let's see. I'm gonna do 10 contracts times 5 times 30. It's 1,500. 10 times 5 times 10. 500. Hmm. It's not a great risk to reward, but those smaller scalps were doing pretty well back then. No, I'm gonna stick to what I'm doing. I'm like after seeing the because if you guys saw the profits there, those profits were like I was making a lot of profits doing these scalps back then. It's a little tempting, but the scalps they're very tricky, guys. I don't know if I'd necessarily like to trade this way again. Um, this used to be my bread and butter. You can see it's crazy how much profits I used to make just scalping. It was stressful though, because when you take a loss, that loss would hurt. That loss would hurt a lot. Um, yeah, but the scalps here, man, it's crazy. I haven't traded this way in a long time. So I had a question from like a lot of you newer traders or new people who joined us more recently. Um, yeah, some people were asking if I've always been this careful with trading. I'm a lot more conservative this time around versus 2 years ago. You can see here from 2 years ago, I used to just scalp 10 points and I would lock in like this is when I used to trade just FTMO. You can see for the month I was up like 10,000, up 12,000, 11,000, 12,000, 18,000, 5,000, 800, 3,000, 11,000, etc. Yeah, I'm kind of curious. I'm thinking maybe I should have just like one separate account where I take these like quick scalp entries. Just like I don't want to consider yellow account, but in a sense, a yellow account because I was making crazy amount of profit back then. It was like pretty much all these accounts here. Yeah, if you guys have been trading with me for a while, these are like the old days. 2023, I used to take like, 5 to 10 entries a day and then lock in some pretty massive profits. Back then, I was like more careless with my entries though. Not really careless, but I was more with the flow of market. I'm kind of curious now to see if there's anything here that I could have seen. There's a market flow right here. Hmm. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll open up like a prop firm account with like a smaller prop firm and I'll just use that to do some of these like kind of quick scalps. for these 1030s, just to keep us kind of entertained during these live sessions. I'll think about it. Maybe I'll do that in the future. So we can probably focus on the main entries, which would be the breakouts, and then I'll probably take the smaller scalps throughout the day with like maybe one, yeah, just like one account that I don't really care about as much. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. You guys can see here that market's not really doing too much. Um, we are currently in a sideways market, 7:52 right now. We got 8 minutes till 8 o'clock. Yeah, I'm really curious now. Like now that I've looked at my old stuff here, I kind of want to go back and just review a lot of my old trading that I did like years ago. Let me go back even further. Let me see if I have anything farther before. Okay, so my first when I first moved to Discord, we were right here on September 5th, 2023. Yeah, I think what I could do with this here is I can try to keep it as tight as possible, maybe 10.1015 TP stop loss. That's crazy. You guys remember this funding company, Funded Engineer? I got scammed by them. I think I made like 20, 30K with them. They never paid me out. Yeah, that's crazy to see my Funded Engineer account back in September 7, 2023. This is my old FTMO account. So guys, we were playing a breakout pretty far back. So this is in September 11, 2023. This was a breakout. So we've been applying the breakouts for basically more than 2 or 3 years now. I think we've been applying for maybe 5 years. There's only certain periods of time when I actually apply the breakout when the market's volatile in the morning. Damn, that's crazy. Like these. So this is before Apex was around. Before Apex was around, I was only able to trade with these companies. Like I had 4 FTMOs, I think, or 5 FTMOs, and then I had a funded engineer. But this is how much profit I was making back in like 2023. I was taking a lot of riskier entries, but these are the profits that I was doing back then. Yeah, see, we were applying the breakout years ago. It's just my main focus kind of shifted a little bit. Interesting. All right, so there's not really much here going on, guys. Yeah, there's not really too much here going on. I'm just looking back at the old strategies. So like looking back over here, let me see if there's nothing here today, of course. But yeah, something like this right here. This would be like a breakout V3 continuation. I mean, it pushes up like 30 points, but the 10-point moves are actually really nice. Okay, so what I think I might do moving forward is I might open up a separate prop account to just take these scalps. And I think I'll do a 10-15. But we'll keep that for another day. I think once we get off this live session, I'm gonna go back and review a lot of my old trading over here. And I'm just kind of curious to see what I was doing back then. I mean, obviously I knew what I was doing back then, but how can I adapt it to this type of market? Because I was applying these strategies on NinjaTrader back then too, and it was working out perfectly fine. See, I had like $2,000 days on NinjaTrader. This is when he made the transition between from FTMO to NinjaTrader. Same strategy, breakout V2. I don't even remember what the breakout V2 was. I think I do though. I think it was momentum signal and two following red candles. That'd be a breakout V2. Breakout V3 would be just one candle following it. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's see. Like this right here would be a breakout V2. This would be breakout V3 and a breakout V2 right here. All right, Sam. Sam's done for the day. So I'll see you back here tomorrow, Sam. Um, let's see. Ark said I brought Apex to Cody Kai. Look at the history. I had first post of green profits. Where'd you send that over? All right. Did you send it somewhere else? Let's see. Ark said, do I keep scalping or do I hold to full TP and stop loss? You should hold a full TP or stop loss. The only time you should move stop loss and profit is if the market's too volatile. Like say for example today, see how price kind of moved up for the breakout? So in a situation like this arc, when price reaches a certain point, I would move your stop loss and profit. Like maybe guarantee 10 or 20 points and then shoot for the full 50 or whatever. But for the most part, I think this here is pretty much a straight push to the upside. Nice, Brock. Yeah, I just saw your message right now. I'll take a look at that probably after the live session. Let me see if I could. Or, if you can message me on Discord, Brock, that'd probably be better if you can, or I can just copy the message and then paste it in there. Yeah, because once I get off this Zoom meeting, it's not going to show up on my history, so I won't be able to read your messages. But yeah, if you want to just copy the message that you sent and just post it on the Discord, I'll take a look at what you mentioned. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, if you want to record it for me, even better, because I can have an idea of what you're looking for, and then we can possibly use that. All right, guys, I'm not really seeing too much happening here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, I think we're going to wrap this up pretty soon. It's about to be 8 o'clock. I think Trump might still be speaking. Let me see this. Yeah, surprisingly, Trump is still speaking. This is why the market here isn't really doing too much because I think a lot of people are just waiting for him to be done speaking. Um, but yeah, price here is just going to keep going back and forth within this middle area. Eventually, once he's done speaking, we might get some movement, but I feel like a lot of people here are being very cautious about what they're deciding to take because they're not sure what Trump's going to say next, which can easily influence the market. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Brock, if you want to record that and send that to me a little later, I'll take a look at it. But I think this was about it. So great day overall, guys. If you guys are just joining in or if you guys didn't see what happened earlier this morning, we had the breakout hit full TP right here for 100 points or 50 points, depending on what you were aiming for. We had the orb over here. It went exactly to where we anticipated. However, there was no retracement, so I couldn't get an entry there. But if you did take a regular orb, that there still pushed up to full TP. And then for the scalps here, the continuation moves, just wasn't really anything that came up. There was an MPS V2 which came up right here, but it was like later on in the session. And then later on after that, there weren't really anything else here that came up. There was a buy signal here, retracement confirmation, but it didn't really push up the full 50 points before turning the other way, right? So, all right, guys, I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session. So, all right, guys.